Kate Mitchell stepped out of the transport ship and felt the strange gravity of prime pull at her body. The air smelled like metal and stone mixed with something sweet she could not name. Everything here was different from Earth. The sky was purple. The buildings were tall and sharp. The ground beneath her feet hummed with power. She had been a trainer on Earth for 15 years. She worked with angry dogs, scared horses, and wild animals that had been hurt by humans. She understood how to read animals. She knew what fear looked like in their eyes. She knew how to be patient when others gave up. That was why the Galactic Employment Agency had hired her. That was why she was here on this alien world. The palace was massive. It stretched across the land like a living thing. Guards with armor made of blue light stood at every entrance. These guards were not human. Their skin was gray and smooth. Their eyes had no pupils. They watched Kate walk past with no interest. She was just a small human woman to them. She was nothing. A servant led her through long hallways. The walls showed pictures of strange creatures and battles from long ago. Finally, they reached a large door. The door opened on its own. Inside was a throne room. Emperor sat on a throne made of crystal and light. He was tall and powerful. His body seemed to be made of the same crystal as his throne. When he moved, the light moved with him. His voice was deep and it made the walls shake. "You are the human trainer," he said. "Yes, Your Majesty," Kate answered. "I have a problem," the Emperor said. "I have a creature, a dragon. It is impossible to train. 17 trainers have tried. Each one lasted less than 1 hour. The last trainer ran from the chamber screaming, 'I need you to train this dragon.'" Kate felt fear move through her body, but she showed nothing in her face. "Why do you need me?" she asked. "Because everyone else has failed," the Emperor said. "Your record on Earth is perfect. You have trained every difficult animal they gave you. Perhaps a human can do what my people cannot." "What will you give me if I succeed?" Kate asked. The Emperor laughed. It sounded like thunder. 1,000,000 credits. You can live like a queen on Earth for the rest of your life." Kate nodded. She needed the money. She needed to help her family back home. But more than that, she wanted to prove that a human could do something the advanced aliens could not. The Emperor led her through more hallways. They went down into the ground. The air got colder. They stopped at a large chamber. There were thick walls made of metal and energy. Behind those walls was the dragon. Was nothing like Kate expected. He was not a simple animal like the dragons from human stories. His body was made of dark crystal that gleamed like obsidian. His wings were folded against his back. They looked sharp enough to cut through anything. His eyes were like flames. They burned with red and orange light. When he breathed, the air got hot. Kate could feel the heat from many feet away. "This is," the Emperor said, "the greatest dragon that has ever lived, but he will not obey. He will not listen. He breaks every chain. He rejects every trainer. He is wild and dangerous." Kate studied the dragon carefully. She did not look away. She did not show fear. The dragon watched her too. His eyes moved as she moved. "How long do I have?" Kate asked. 1 week, the Emperor said. "If you can keep him under control for 1 week, you have won. If you fail, you will leave on the next ship and receive nothing." Kate did not hesitate. "I accept." The Emperor left her there with 2 servants who carried tools. There were whips. There were chains. There were devices made of metal that looked like they caused pain. There were bottles of chemicals that smelled bad. Kate looked at the tools, then she looked at the dragon. She turned to the servants. "Remove these things," she said. "I do not need them." The servants looked shocked. "But these are the training tools," one said. "All trainers use them." "I am not like other trainers," Kate said. "Take them away." The servants left the tools in a pile and walked away. Kate was alone with. She walked close to the energy wall, did not attack. He watched her with his burning eyes. Kate sat down on the cold stone floor. She pulled a small book from her bag. It was a book about Earth animals. She began to read. Moved closer to the wall. Kate did not look at him. She kept reading. She read for hours. The dragon's breathing changed. It became slower, calmer. When the sun set, Kate looked at the dragon for the first time. She spoke in a soft voice. "My name is Kate," she said. "I am here to help you, not to hurt you. I know they hurt you before. I know you are angry, but I am different. You will see." Made a low sound. It was not aggressive. It sounded almost like he was listening. Kate stood up slowly. "I will be back tomorrow," she said, "and I will bring something for you." She walked out of the chamber. Behind her, watched until she disappeared from view. For the first time in many years, the dragon felt something new. It was not anger, it was something else. Something he could not understand. It was hope. Kate returned to her quarters and thought about the dragon. She thought about why 17 trainers had failed. She thought about what made different from the animals she had trained on Earth. Then she understood. The trainers were trying to break the dragon's will. They were trying to make him afraid, but was already afraid. He was afraid and angry and lonely. Kate woke before the sun rose. She had a plan. She went to the palace gardens and found exactly what she needed. Smooth stones, water flowing in channels, and in the music room she found instruments that made soft sounds when the wind blew through them. She gathered everything carefully. A servant watched her with confusion as she collected these simple things. "These have no value," the servant said. "Not everything has value because it is expensive," Kate replied. "Some things have value because they bring happiness." She returned to his chamber. The dragon was sleeping, his massive body curled against the far wall. His breathing was deep and slow. When he heard Kate's footsteps, his eyes opened. The red flames inside them brightened. Kate did not enter the chamber. Instead, she worked outside the energy barrier. She created a small garden in front of the wall. She arranged the smooth stones in patterns. She poured water into a stone dish so it would reflect light. She hung the wind chimes where the dragon could see them and hear them. Rose and walked toward the barrier. He watched her work. "Come and see," Kate said to him. She was not commanding, she was inviting. The dragon moved closer. His hot breath made the air shimmer. Kate continued her work, ignoring him completely. This was important. The dragon needed to feel like he was choosing to be near her, like she was not forcing him. By midday, Kate opened a small part of the barrier. She did not order to come out. She simply opened it and sat down to eat her meal. For a long time, nothing happened. Stood at the opening but did not move. Kate ate her food slowly. She did not watch him. She did not pressure him. Finally, the dragon stepped through. His legs were longer than Kate was tall. His wings blocked out the light. But he did not attack. He walked to the garden Kate had made. He lowered his head and looked at the stones. One of the stones was warm from the sun, pushed it with his nose. The stone rolled. The dragon made a sound of surprise. Then he pushed it again. And again. He was playing. The great, terrible dragon that had defeated 17 trainers was playing with a smooth stone like a young animal. Kate watched from the corner of her eye. She did not smile. She did not celebrate. She simply continued eating and being calm. Spent the rest of the day moving stones. Sometimes he moved them carefully. Sometimes he used his tail to scatter them. When the sun set, Kate stood up slowly. "Thank you for coming out," she said. "You are a good dragon. Tomorrow I will bring more things." She walked toward the exit, followed her. When she reached the barrier, the dragon did not try to escape. He simply watched her go, then he returned to his chamber. The next day, Kate brought toys, simple toys made from wood and cloth. She hung one from a chain, learned that if he hit the toy with his head or his tail, it moved. He could make it swing through the air. This made him happy. Kate could see happiness in the way he moved. His breathing became lighter. His movements became playful instead of aggressive. On the third day, something changed. Kate was sitting by the barrier reading her book, was sleeping near the stones. One of the palace officials came to the chamber. His name was Administrator. He was angry. "You are wasting time," he told Kate. "The dragon must be forced into obedience. You are being too soft. You are weak. The Emperor should have sent someone with real training methods." Kate looked at him calmly. "How many trainers used force?" she asked. "All of them," said. "It is the only way." "And all of them lasted less than an hour," Kate said. "I have been here for 3 days and the dragon has not attacked me. He has not threatened me. He has learned my voice. He comes when I open the barrier. What you call weakness, I call intelligence." Looked angry, but he could not argue. He left the chamber. That evening, something remarkable happened. Kate was sitting by the barrier when walked very close to the wall. He lowered his massive head until his face was near Kate's face. The heat from his body warmed the air. His eyes were no longer burning with anger. They were warm. They looked at Kate with something new, something like trust. Very slowly, Kate raised her hand. She did not touch him. She simply held her palm flat, the way you would show a dog you meant no harm. The dragon moved his head forward. His hard crystal forehead touched Kate's hand. The dragon and the human stayed that way for many moments. The dragon was cool now, not hot. His breath was gentle. Kate felt tears in her eyes, but she did not cry. She stayed still. She let the dragon feel that she was calm and safe. When pulled away, he made a sound. It was a low, rumbling sound. It came from deep in his chest. Kate understood that this was not a warning. This was a sound of contentment. The next morning, Kate opened the barrier completely. She did not tell the dragon to do anything. She simply walked away from the chamber and left the barrier open. Could leave if he wanted. He could hurt her. He could escape. But he did not. The dragon followed her. He walked beside her through the palace hallways. Guards stopped and stared. Servants ran away, but did not attack anyone. He simply followed the small human woman who had shown him something no one else had ever shown him: kindness. They walked to a large open space beneath the palace. It was a training ground used by the palace soldiers. It was empty and quiet. Kate stopped and looked at the dragon. "Here," she said. "This is your place now. This is where we will work together." The training ground became a place of wonder. Kate and worked together every day. Kate did not give orders like a general commanding an army. Instead, she asked questions with her body and her voice. She showed the dragon what she wanted. Then she waited to see if he wanted to do it. On the 5th day, Kate held up a large stone. She set the stone on the ground. Then she moved it with her hands. The stone rolled forward. Watched, he understood. He walked to the stone. He pushed it with his nose. The stone rolled forward again, made a satisfied sound. Kate pointed to the stone. Then she pointed to a circle she had drawn on the ground far away. She did not speak. She simply waited. Thought about what she wanted. Then he pushed the stone. It rolled slowly across the ground. When it reached the circle, Kate clapped her hands and smiled. She had not hit him. She had not used pain. She had simply shown him what was right and let him choose to do it. Over the next days, learned many things. He learned to move objects. He learned to stop when Kate raised her hand. He learned to come when she called his name. He learned to fly in patterns through the air. Every command was given gently. Every success was celebrated quietly. Kate began to understand how intelligent truly was. When she made a mistake and forgot what she was teaching him, the dragon corrected her. If she pointed to something she did not really want, would look at her with confusion. He was learning not just to obey. He was learning to think. On the 7th day, the emperor came to watch them train. He arrived with guards and officials. They stood at the edge of the training ground, watching in silence. Kate had no idea they were being observed. They were simply working together the way they always did. Kate made a signal, flew into the air, and performed a series of loops and turns that were beautiful to watch. He dove toward the ground and pulled up at the last moment. He flew backward. He flew upside down. Every movement was controlled. Every movement was perfect. When landed, Kate touched his forehead with her palm. The dragon made his rumbling sound of contentment. They stayed that way for a moment. Human and dragon, connected by trust. The emperor stepped forward and clapped his hands slowly. The sound echoed across the training ground. Kate and both turned to look at him. "Remarkable," the emperor said. His voice was surprised and pleased. "I did not believe it was possible. Come here, Kate Mitchell." Kate walked to the emperor, followed beside her like a dog on a leash, except there was no leash. The dragon was with her because he chose to be. "You have accomplished what I thought was impossible," the emperor said. "The dragon obeys you. But more than this, I can see that you have changed him. He is not the same creature that arrived here 5 years ago. He is not angry. He is not afraid." "He was never truly unruly," Kate said. "He was lonely. He was angry because no one had ever treated him with respect. When I showed him that his choices mattered, everything changed." The emperor looked thoughtful. "Tell me, Kate Mitchell, why does a human understand what my people's greatest trainers could not understand?" Kate thought about this carefully. She wanted to answer honestly. "On Earth, we learned long ago that force does not work. We learned that every creature, no matter how big or strong, responds better to kindness than to pain. We learned that understanding is more powerful than dominance." The emperor nodded slowly. "Bring the dragon to the Great Hall tomorrow," he said. "We are having a gathering of visitors from other worlds. They have heard stories of the unruly dragon that defeated all our trainers. I want them to see the truth. I want them to see what is possible when someone chooses to understand instead of control." That night, Kate prepared for the gathering. She made sure his crystal body was clean and shining. She braided his mane with ribbons that caught the light. She spoke to him quietly. "Tomorrow many beings will watch us," she said. "They will be loud, they will be strange, but you will be brave, you will stay with me. and you will show them something they do not expect. You will show them that strength and gentleness can exist in the same being. Rested his head against Kate's chest. His heartbeat was calm and steady. The next morning came, Kate and walked through the palace halls. Servants stopped and stared. Some of them had never seen the dragon outside of his chamber. They had heard the stories of his wildness. But now they saw something different. They saw a magnificent creature walking peacefully beside a small human woman. The great hall was full of beings from 100 different species. Some had scales, some had fur. Some had no skin at all, just light and energy held together in the shape of a body. They all fell silent when Kate entered. The Emperor stood and welcomed them. "You have come to see the dragon," he said. "You have heard that he is uncontrollable and dangerous, but I want you to see what is truly possible when we choose understanding instead of force." Kate began to demonstrate what they had learned together, performed complex maneuvers. He responded to gentle signals that the visitors could barely see. He flew in perfect circles. He moved heavy objects with precision. He even lay down and allowed Kate to stand on his back without the slightest movement or sign of danger. And then something unexpected happened. Another trainer stepped forward. He was from a wealthy planet and he was famous for his methods. His name was Commander. He stepped into the training ground and looked at with a cruel smile. "These tricks prove nothing," said. "I can make any creature obey through proper discipline. Let me show you real training." He raised a whip made of energy and light. The pain from that whip could injure even a dragon. Kate stepped forward. "No," she said firmly, "you will not hurt him." Laughed, "You cannot stop me, human. I am an expert. Your methods are for weak creatures." But then moved. The dragon stepped between Kate and he spread his wings wide. His eyes burned with red fire. The dragon made a sound that shook the entire hall. It was not aggression, it was protection. Was protecting Kate because she had taught him what it meant to matter, what it meant to be safe, what it meant to be loved. Stepped backward, he lowered his whip. He left the hall quickly, ashamed. After the demonstration in the Great Hall, everything changed. News of Kate Mitchell spread across the entire galaxy. The human who had tamed the Emperor's dragon, the human who had succeeded where the greatest alien trainers had failed. Requests came from every corner of the known universe. Other planets sent their trainers to study Kate's methods. The palace became a school. Kate found herself teaching classes to alien trainers who had spent their whole lives believing that pain and force were the only ways to control wild creatures. The Emperor offered Kate a position as head trainer for the entire palace. She accepted, became the Emperor's trusted companion. The dragon was no longer locked in a chamber. He walked freely through the palace halls. He stood beside the Emperor during important meetings. He had a life now. He had purpose. He had a friend. But there were those who did not accept this change. Administrator still believed in the old ways. He gathered other officials who shared his beliefs. They whispered in the halls. They told stories about how Kate had weakened the dragon. They said that kindness was not strength, but the absence of strength. One evening came to Kate in the training ground. He was not alone. With him were 10 other officials. They carried documents. They looked angry. "The Emperor has made a mistake," said. "We are here to correct it. We are going to take the dragon into proper training. We will restore him to his true purpose as a weapon." Kate stood between and, "The Emperor will not allow this," she said. "The Emperor is soft," said. "He has been influenced by your human ways, but the Council does not agree. We are the ones who truly care about strength and power." Reached out to take, but the dragon moved. He did not attack. He simply positioned himself between and Kate. His eyes burned bright. His wings spread wide. "You see," said to the other officials, "this is what happens when you show weakness. The creature turns against you." But Kate understood what was happening, was not turning against anyone. He was making a choice. He was choosing Kate. He was choosing the world she had shown him. A world where he mattered. A world where he was valued for who he was, not what he could do as a weapon. The Emperor's guards came through the doors. Behind them was the Emperor himself. His face was dark with anger. When he spoke, his voice shook the ground. "You dare attempt to take my dragon without my permission?" he asked. "We are trying to save him from weakness," replied. "She has made him soft. She has ruined him." The Emperor walked to and placed his hand on the dragon's head. "This dragon is stronger than he has ever been," the Emperor said. "Before he was strong with anger and fear. Now he is strong with will and choice. He obeys me because he trusts me, not because he fears me. This is true strength." He looked at with disappointment. "You are removed from your position," he said. "All of you are removed. You may leave the palace immediately." And the other officials left in silence. But Kate knew this was not truly over. Change was never easy. There would be others who did not understand. There would be others who feared what Kate and represented. That night, the Emperor called Kate to his private chamber. It was the first time she had been invited there. The walls were made of clear crystal. Through them, you could see the stars of space. The Emperor stood looking out at those stars. "You have changed my palace," he said. "You have changed my thinking, but more than this, you have changed my understanding of power itself." Kate did not say anything. She simply listened. "On my world, we believed that strength came from control," the Emperor continued. "We controlled our creatures, we controlled our people, we controlled our enemies, but when I watch you and together, I see something different. I see that the strongest bond is one that is chosen, not forced." He turned to face Kate. "I want to make you an offer. I want you to stay on Prime. I want you to build a school. I want trainers from across the galaxy to come here and learn what you teach. I want to change how we think about power and control. But I cannot do this alone. Will you help me?" Kate felt emotion fill her heart. She thought of her home on Earth. She thought of her family. But she also thought of what she could do here. She could change an entire galaxy's thinking about how to treat other beings. "I will stay," she said. "But I will need help. I will need other humans. I will need people from Earth who understand what we understand about patience and kindness." The Emperor smiled. For a being made of crystal and light, he could smile. "Then I will send ships to your world. I will bring whoever you need. Together, we will create something new." Over the next months, Kate's plan became reality. 5 ships traveled to Earth and returned with human trainers and teachers. They came from many countries. They came with different experiences and different knowledge. But they all shared one thing. They all believed that understanding was stronger than force. They built a school inside the palace. Kate taught the human ways to alien students. The alien students taught the humans about their cultures and their planets. For the first time in the history of the galaxy, beings from hundreds of different worlds came together not to fight or compete, but to learn from each other. Became a symbol of this new thinking. When young trainers arrived from distant planets, afraid and uncertain, would walk with them. He would show them that a creature of strength and power could also be gentle and kind. He would show them that the old ways of pain and force did not have to be the only ways. One day, a young trainer from a cold, harsh planet asked Kate a question. "How did you know that kindness would work?" the trainer asked. Kate thought about this. She thought about all the animals she had helped on Earth. She thought about and how he had changed. 5 years had passed since Kate first arrived on Prime. The school had grown beyond what anyone expected. More than 1,000 students from 500 different planets had studied there. They had learned new ways. They had seen that the path of understanding led to results that force could never achieve. Kate stood on the observation platform high above the palace. Below her, the training grounds stretched out like a massive patchwork quilt. On one section, a young trainer from a desert planet worked with a creature made of sand and wind. On another section, a trainer from the oceans of another world helped a water-based being learn trust. In the center, flew in slow circles with a group of young students on his back. Each student was learning what had learned. Each student was experiencing the wonder of being treated with respect. The Emperor found her there. He had become her friend and her partner in this work. Together, they had changed the way an entire galaxy thought about power and control. "I have received a message from Earth," the Emperor said. He held out a communication device. "Your family sends their greetings. They are proud of you." Kate took the device and watched a recording of her parents. They were older now. They were gray and slow, but their eyes were bright when they spoke about their daughter. They told stories about her childhood. They talked about how she had always been able to understand animals, how she had always believed that kindness was strength. They said they were proud of what she had done, but they missed her. Kate felt sadness and joy at the same time. She had accomplished much on this world, but she had lost the chance to be with her family as they grew older. "I want to establish something new," she said to the Emperor. "I want to create a way for family members to visit. Students here come from so far away that many have not seen their loved ones in years. We work on healing the relationships between species. Why not also heal the relationships between family members separated by distance?" The Emperor considered this. "It is a good idea," he said. I will fund it. We will create fast ships that travel between worlds. We will make it possible for students to visit their homes. Within a year, the program was in place. Students and teachers could return home for visits. The first time Kate returned to Earth, she went home to her parents. She held her mother. She sat with her father. She told them stories of the dragon and the palace and the 1,000 trainers she had taught. Her mother asked her something that Kate had not expected. "Are you happy?" she asked. "Really happy?" Kate thought about this. She thought about and how he had changed. She thought about the young trainer from the harsh, cold planet who now led her own school on her home world. She thought about all the creatures across the galaxy who would no longer be beaten and broken. She thought about all the beings who would grow up knowing that they mattered. "Yes," Kate said, "I am truly happy." She returned to Prime, but now she went home twice each year. She was no longer just the human trainer. She was the bridge between worlds. She was proof that beings from different planets could work together. She was proof that understanding could cross any distance. Grew older, his crystal body became even more brilliant. His wings beat slower but with more power. He no longer flew through the skies like a young dragon filled with wild energy, but he had a purpose now that was deeper. He was a teacher. He was a symbol of change. Kate worked with less and less. Instead, she trained the trainers. She spent her time in classrooms and meetings. She advised planetary leaders on how to change their systems of control. She worked with the Emperor to establish laws that protected all creatures, regardless of species or size. But every day, without fail, she spent time with. They would sit together in the place where they had first begun their work. Kate would read books, would rest his head near her. They did not need to talk. They did not need to demonstrate anything. They just needed to be together, two beings who had found each other and changed each other's entire worlds. On the day that died, the entire palace mourned. The dragon was old. His breath had become slow. His movements had become difficult. Kate sat with him through his last night. She held his head in her lap. She sang songs from Earth. She told him stories about all the creatures he had helped change. She told him about all the trainers who would carry his message forward. When took his last breath, Kate felt it like losing a part of herself. But she also felt peace. Had lived a good life. He had been loved. He had mattered. In the end, what more could any creature ask for? The Emperor declared a day of mourning for the entire galaxy. Beings from 1,000 worlds gathered to honor the dragon who had taught them all a lesson about the power of kindness. They told stories about, they sang songs, they created art. The dragon had become something larger than life. He had become a symbol of transformation and hope. Kate gave a speech at its memorial. She stood before thousands of beings and she spoke about what she had learned. "Taught me that every creature wants the same things," she said. "Safety, purpose, to be understood, to matter. I came to this world believing I would train a dragon. Instead, the dragon trained me. He showed me that strength is not about control. Strength is about choosing to see the best in others and helping them become who they truly are." After the ceremony, Kate returned to the training ground where she and had spent so many years together. The ground was empty now, but she could see him there. She could see him playing with stones. She could see him learning to fly. She could see him protecting her from harm. She pulled out a communication device and recorded a message to send back to Earth. She wanted the world that had made her to understand what had happened here. She wanted them to know that human values mattered across an entire galaxy. "I have been thinking about what makes humans special," she said into the recorder. "It is not our intelligence. There are creatures far more intelligent than us. It is not our strength. There are beings far more powerful. It is not our technology. Other worlds are more advanced." She paused, she thought about. "What makes humans special," she continued, "is our ability to see value in others, our ability to treat even the smallest, weakest being with dignity, our ability to believe in others when they have lost hope in themselves, our ability to choose kindness when force would be easier. These qualities have changed an entire galaxy. These qualities have made the impossible possible." She stopped recording. She looked up at the purple sky of this alien world that had become her home. Somewhere in the stars above, she knew other humans were living other lives. Most of them would never know what she had accomplished. Most of them would never know that their values had changed an empire. But that was okay, because now, across 1,000 worlds, beings were teaching their children what Kate had taught them. They were showing them that understanding was more powerful than dominance. They were building a galaxy based not on fear and control, but on respect and kindness. Kate Mitchell had come to this world to train a dragon. Instead, she had changed everything. Not with weapons or technology, not with intelligence or force, but with something that her small human heart had always known to be true. Every being, no matter how different, wanted to be seen, wanted to be valued, wanted to matter. In the end, that simple truth was the most powerful magic of all. It was the magic that could cross galaxies. It was the magic that could transform an entire universe. It was the magic of a human woman and a dragon who learned to trust each other. And in that trust, they had changed the meaning of strength forever. "I did not know," she answered honestly. "I simply believed that every being wants the same things. They want to feel safe. They want to matter. They want to be understood. These things are true across every species. Once you understand that, kindness becomes not soft but logical. It becomes the strongest choice you can make." The trainer nodded. She understood now. She would go back to her cold planet and she would teach others. And somewhere in the galaxy, another creature would be helped. Another being would learn that there was a better way. And it would all start because one human woman had the courage to try something different, something that the entire universe said would fail. The Emperor stood and all the other visitors stood with him. They clapped their hands. They made sounds of respect and amazement. A human woman had done what no alien trainer could do. She had created something better than obedience. She had created loyalty. She had created love. Looked at the space. Then he looked at Kate, and he lay down beside her, his massive body filling the entire training ground. He was ready. He was ready to learn. He was ready to trust. From that moment, the dragon had chosen his trainer, not because he was forced, but because he wanted to be with her, because she was the first being in his life who had ever treated him with respect. Kate knew what she had to do. She would not break. She would reach the part of him that was still alive inside, the part that wanted to be understood, the part that wanted to trust someone again. Tomorrow would be the real beginning of her work. Tomorrow she would start to show the Emperor and the entire galaxy what a human could do with patience and understanding and kindness. She would show them that you do not need weapons or pain to make a creature obey. You only need to show them that you see them, that you care about them, that they matter.